As a leader, you have massive responsibility. Responsibility is a privilege. So don't think responsibility is a weight. Responsibility is an honor. Hey, Matt Smith here with All or Nothing in Real Estate. I recently had the fortune to attend a real estate mastermind event with some of the top leaders and top teams in all of real estate. There was so much value that we decided to break it into several parts. If you haven't listened to the first part, go check it out. There's lots of value there. But in this episode, we talked about how to lead from the front, how to enroll, invite, and acknowledge your team to help them achieve success. I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. I'm your host, Matt Smith. I forgot my name for a minute, but my name is Matt Smith. I'm the founder of Matt Smith Real Estate Group, the number one team in the state of Missouri, number 8 team in the nation according to Real Trends. And this podcast is a way for me to give back to this amazing industry that's given so much to me and my family. And so I hope you enjoy the episode today. We've got a special one. As always, I've got Colin here with me. Colin, thanks for being here.
How's it going, everybody? I'm excited for today's topic.
Leadership matters. Mm-hmm. And I think what I saw on display in real time was an amazing group of leaders that inspired me to become a better leader. And I actually did a post internal to our leadership team. And the concept of it was you have 2 major jobs. You have massive responsibility as a leader. Let's start there. As a leader, you have massive responsibility. But you also have to realize that responsibility is a privilege. Mm-hmm. And so don't think responsibility is a weight. Responsibility is an honor. Responsibility is something that you have earned the right to have that responsibility. It is a privilege. Don't let it be a weight and carry overwhelm. It is a great thing because now you can impact other human beings' lives at a higher level. And so I think that's leadership is crucial. Let me break this down in a couple parts. Mm-hmm. I believe there's one form of leadership, and that is leadership by example. But I also think that you can take that the wrong way. And so, Colin, you and I have talked about this, and maybe you can help me process what's in my head right now.
I'm starting to get some inklings, but go for it.
Leadership by example. You and I have talked about that. Mm-hmm. I had another definition for that. Do you remember what it is? There's one way to be a leader.
It's like you have to lead from the front. You can't push a string.
Yep.
I can't think of the one. I know the one you're talking about, but it's not coming. We'll think of it later. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, but the main point is that it's leadership by example. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I said is as a leader in our organization specifically, but I think it applies across the board, is you have 2 major job roles and functions, and they're not what you think. Because as a leader, you are no longer if you're, I don't care what level of leadership in a real estate business, you are no longer in the transaction business. Mm-hmm. You are in the people development, the human development, human resources, human attraction business. Mm-hmm. How can you develop, how can you hold humans accountable and develop humans into being a better human? And now those better humans do more transactions.
Ripple effect.
100%. And it's a mindset shift for a lot of people that are taking that change. And it's really, really hard and difficult because developing leaders is one of the hardest things to do on the planet. Mm-hmm. That's where a lot of organizations get stuck, is replacing themselves in leadership and having that contribution mindset. As an example, and I'll get to my point in a minute, but I think this is just relevant for a leadership conversation, is that a lot of people get stuck. And they get stuck, and I've seen this in our own organization, and I've seen other people that I coach, and I've seen a lot of people struggle with this. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I really pride myself in helping people through, this mindset shift. And I love having this conversation with my coaching clients. And so if this is something that maybe you're struggling with, the leadership aspect, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. Mm-hmm. And let's have that conversation, see if I can unpack some things and help you, because you have to lead by example, but you also have to realize that your job as a leader is to help them self-discover where their growth is going to be. Mm-hmm. And they have to be able to grow through the questions that you ask versus, as an example, telling isn't selling. Mm-mm. Quit telling people what to do and help facilitate the environment by asking great questions where they understand what to do.
I'll give you a perfect example. If I say, Matt, based off of what you've been talking about, it sounds like you need to be more healthy. So why don't you go join a gym? Why don't you eat better? Why don't you do this, this, and this, and then come back next week? It's like, well, yeah, I know that. Versus say, all right, you mentioned that you're struggling with health. What are some thoughts on how you'd like to tackle that? It's like you're shifting, you're asking the question, feeding it, and it has to come from them.
Yep.
Instead of me telling, you're saying,
I'll take that another level. So in that example, Colin, what is it that with your health that you're struggling with?
Right.
Why do you feel that is? Tell me more. Mm-hmm. What else? Go deep, deep, mm-hmm. deep, deep, deep. What it does is it challenges that human to think further than they've probably thought. And they now have an aha moment themselves, and they're way more open to hear your feedback versus you just lecturing them, right? Mm-hmm. It makes a massive difference. But you have to lead by example. And you have to realize that you are developing humans. You are in the human development business. And so how do you develop people? You develop people two ways. First and foremost, if you're a leader, you are in the enrollment business. Your job is to enroll them into your culture, enroll them into your trainings, enroll them into your skill building, enroll mm-hmm. them into your sales meetings, enroll them into this personal development, whatever. Not force them, enroll them, mm-hmm. invite them, make it exciting. And so how do you enroll? You enroll two ways. You enroll in a group setting. So you can have a group chat or a group mm-hmm. message or an email. Hey, Colin, I want to remind you we have a team meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m., right? Like whatever that is mm-hmm. in a group setting. Well, it wouldn't be, hey, Colin, it'd be like, hey, team, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of people think that's enrolling, mm-hmm. and it's a part of it. But without part number two, part number one does not work. And then we as leaders get frustrated. And we're like, how come they're not showing up? How come they're not? Because mm-hmm. here's the thing that is really important on number two. The depth of the relationship that you have with your people will ultimately determine how well you can lead them.
Wait, say that again.
The depth of the relationship that you have with the people you are leading will determine how well you can actually lead them. If you do not have a relationship with your people you are leading on a one-on-one level, if you don't know what makes them tick, if you don't know what's important to them, you don't know why they are here. Why is Colin here? Mm-hmm. Why is this agent here? Oh, it's to make money. Bullshit. Mm-hmm. Why do they want to make money? Mm-hmm. What is that money going to do for them in their life? And why is that important to them? Well, they need to pay off debt. Awesome. Why do they need to pay off debt? They need to pay off debt because they grew up in a household where their parents always lived in debt and they don't want that for their family. Oh, so once they pay off that debt, what are they going to do for their family? Oh, they're going to take them on a trip they never had when they were a kid. Mm-hmm. Now I found what's important to them.
Yep.
That was a goosebump moment. Because we've had that scenario's happened.
Yeah, it has.
And guess what? I see pictures from them on the trip. Mm-hmm. Because I have that depth of relationship and I care enough to enroll them and ask them those questions mm-hmm. so that they can discover why they want it. Versus, hey, Colin, how come you haven't made your calls today? I didn't see you at the meeting, right? And so the second part of enrollment is personal enrollment. And that is on a relationship level. And yes, we can do the like perfect example. Today we have a coaching call with Coach Pipes. Mm-hmm. I sent out a mass message to our all agents chat and said, hey, agents, just a reminder, we have a meeting at 10:30. Coach Pipes coaching call. See you there.
Yep.
But I also reached out to a couple people that I knew the message he's going to deliver would be really relevant to them. Be like, hey, I hope you have time to make it to the coaching session today mm-hmm. because I know it'll be really important to you. I know you're going through ABC, XYZ, and I think this will be a very important message. Can you make it today?
Mm-hmm. You've tied the value to what they value.
Yes, 100%. It's all about them. It's nothing about me. Mm-hmm. Leadership is about your people. And about the relationship you have with your people.
I'm just putting myself in the agent's shoes just real quick and just saying how different of a to receive, to even to offer an opportunity, how differently I'm going to receive that of like, hey, don't forget to be on the training versus like, hey, I know this is your goal. I'm helping you to achieve that goal. And here's a new resource that I know will help you move a step closer to that. I'm like, well, Matt's on my side. He's rooting for me.
Versus feeling micromanaging and being like, why is Matt always trying to get me to show up to these damn meetings?
And it's like, oh, well, because he believes in me. Yes. Oh, well, then I'm going to be there.
So number one is you have to enroll people, right? You're in the mm-hmm. enrollment business. But you have to enroll them in a public setting. That works. But it doesn't work without the private setting, without the one-on-one relationship, without the enrollment that way. And so I think let me recap. Leadership, as a leader, you are in the enrollment business, first and foremost. There's two ways to enroll people. You enroll them into the activities that you want them to do. You enroll them into the meetings you want to have, into whatever result you want to accomplish, or they want to accomplish, or you collectively want to accomplish. Your job as a leader is to enroll them into it. Not force, not micromanage, enroll. Number one, to enroll, you can do it in a group setting. Number two is it has to be a one-on-one relationship setting. You have to be able to enroll them in a relationship setting. Now, here's the catch. I said there was two parts to being a leader. Number one is enroll. So everything that I just said that applies with enroll also applies with acknowledgement. You have to enroll and acknowledge. So how do you acknowledge people? If you acknowledge them for the things that you enrolled them in that they had a good success for, guess what that does to the human mind? It makes them want to do more of it because they got that cookie for doing a good thing. And like, I hate to say that way, but like that's the best analogy I can come up with.
Give
like,
a mini example of that ABC.
So someone I want Colin to, I know Colin has this goal of he really needs to work on his skill set so that he can convert more business, so that he can do what's really important to him in his personal life. And the missing piece is that skill set that he needs to still develop. Well, guess what we have every day? We have role plays to help develop your skills. We have trainings to help develop your skills. And so I'm going to enroll everyone, right? Hey, reminder, this is what we have, a team newsletter, reminds everyone of the training calendar, all of that. But I'm also going to reach out to Colin. Hey, Colin, man, what's on your schedule today? Oh, awesome. Hey, 9 o'clock, we got a role play. You planning on coming? Oh, you weren't going to come? No worries, man. I know you got a busy life. It's all right. Hey, where are you at with taking your kids to Disney World? I know that was really important to you. Have you booked that trip yet?
No, not quite yet. It's still kind of in the pipeline. I'm not sure be able to make it all come together yet.
Man, I can't wait to see the pictures and the smiles on your kid's face when you go there. Like, I'm super excited for you to do that. I remember last time that we talked, you had said that there was a gap that you noticed of maybe some skills that you wanted to work on. How are you coming along with that?
One day at a time, I guess. Not quite where I'd want to be, honestly.
One day at a time. Why not today?
I guess I could flex this one appointment. I could be there. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a commitment to you too. I'll be there too, and we'll make sure we work on that skill that you need today. Can I count on you to be there today at 9?
I'll be there.
Awesome, man. We'll see you there. Right? Like, and then when Colin shows up and he contributes, he gives back, guess what I'm also going to do on the back end of that? It's a sandwich technique. I invite, I enroll. Not in a, hey, how come you didn't show up to role play?
Right.
Like it's a very soft tone, and I tie it. It needs to sting a little bit sometimes, right? But it stings in a helpful way. Like, shit, he's right. I need to own it. I need to be there because I owe that to my family, right? Want to take it a step further? If that's the real scenario for Colin, I challenged one of our agents to do this. Literally did. Yeah. They said they haven't booked the trip yet. They want to take their kids to Disney World. This is a real life example. And so I said, awesome. Have you booked it yet? No, we haven't. Okay, when you want to go by? Well, I want to go by this date. Awesome. Go home tonight and tell your kids, hey, we're going to Disney World and we're going by this date.
That changes everything.
You going to tell your kids, sorry, we can't go because daddy didn't do his shit? Or are you going to actually do what you know you need to do? Not for me.
Right.
But for you and your kids, because you said that's what's important.
And you're not forcing this on them. This is what when you got to the root of the root of the root, they're like, I want this for my kids.
Yeah, 100%. So that's leadership 101. We went kind of on a tangent there, but I think, so if you enroll, you also have to acknowledge. And so I think a lot of leaders forget the acknowledgement piece. And I struggle with this because I want self-managed and self-disciplined people. Like, that's what I look for in an organization. But I also realize that it is my job to enroll, invite, but also acknowledge people for doing the behaviors that I know I fall into the trap of, well, the sales meeting was for them. Why do I have to thank them for showing up? Right?
Right. Like, I put this together for them. Like, shouldn't they be thanking me?
I don't go that far, but sure. Yeah. But I also think that's like, who am I to think that way? That's the wrong way of thinking. Why not thank them and acknowledge them for showing up and the contributions that they had and the impact I know that will have on their life? Which one of those two will Colin show up to more meetings? Will Colin have a greater impact on his life? Because what is my responsibility as a leader? To have the biggest impact on Colin's life that I can. And so is it to me to sit in my ego and say, well, I do the sales meetings and they need to show up? Or, you know what, it is my responsibility to personally enroll and invite and acknowledge them for when they do something that maybe even I expect them to do.
Right.
But enroll and acknowledge them for it. Makes a massive difference.
Some crazy good value today. Lots of gold there.
Last quote I'll leave you on. The speed of the leader determines the pace of the pack. If you are a leader listening, by the way, everyone listening is a leader. Mm-hmm. Everyone is a leader to someone in their life. Everyone is a leader to someone in their life. There is someone watching you. And actions speak louder than words. People don't care what you say. Your kids don't care what you say. They are watching what you do. Mm-hmm. Are you truly leading by example? Are you truly leading the speed at which you ask the other people to follow? Mm-hmm. Because if they catch you, guess what? You will no longer be their leader. The speed of the leader determines the pace of the pack. And if you're looking at your organization, you're looking at your family, you're looking at your relationships, your finance, your business, your health, any aspect of your life, and it's not where you want to be, the first place you got to look is in the mirror. Are you owning your shit? Are you doing what you need to do to be the leader that you need to be in order to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish, and also clear the path and inspire others to want to be that person as well?
Right on point. Well, we'll be continuing this conversation in a part 2 here. I know we got to run to Coach Pipes, but pretty exciting event and a huge takeaways.
We haven't even talked about the event yet.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah, there'll be a part 2. We'll break down the events. There's amazing speakers, lots of great content. I think I have, 38 pages of notes or something. Not to mention the other conversations. We're going to go super in depth in those in part 2. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. As always, all or nothing in real estate is a movement. It's a way for me to give back to the industry. It's given so much to me. I hope you got the value out of this one. That was the message that you need to hear at this time. Again, if you're going through something tough right now, if you're going through the climb, just think about what that view is going to be from the top when you make it through. So keep pushing. Thank you so much for listening. We will be releasing another part soon where I will break down a behind the scenes of what actually happened in the trenches of this conference in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It was a huge event with all the top leaders and teams from across the world, all under one roof. I have well over 30 pages of notes, so there's going to be a lot of gold in there, and I want to give you the takeaways that I had so it can feel like you were in the room. So stay tuned. And as always, if this episode was useful, share this with a friend so we can continue our movement of helping people and giving back to this amazing industry that's given so much to me and my family.